All right, so disc, not to be confused with frisbees. You know, when we say secrets of disc selling, I always get a weird look, like, selling discs? No, you have to have personality in sales. And it doesn't matter what personality you have, you can still sell. You just need to understand what everybody else's personality is. That's the key. So, number one, we understand ourselves. Number two, we're able to understand everybody else, okay? Because why do people do business with us?
They like you.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Right?
They trust you.
Bingo. They're not going to sign a contract with you if they don't trust you. And like and trust will bring
Money.
connection, right? Okay? So we want connection ultimately. That's the beginning of a big relationship and hopefully a referral relationship. So we'll skip out of we don't want to make this a 2 or 3 hour class, so we'll skip the disc history, go into the understanding yourself and recognizing the traits in others because that's the important part. But before we get started, let's do an exercise, okay? Just by the reaction, I can already tell what side of the room who's going to be in what. So, are you, okay, let's do outgoing people. Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. Stand up.
This is calisthenics.
All right.
It's an exercise.
Outgoing people to the back of the room. If you're outgoing, and that means you have high energy, you're fast-paced, enthusiastic, optimistic. Bye, Wendy. Me and Wendy talked about her optimism problems, so she's definitely in the back. Okay. And then if you're reserved, come up front.
Can I split myself in two?
Not yet. Not yet. So if you're slower paced, more cautious, okay?
No.
Reluctant, very discerning, critical thinkers. So these one-liners and one words can get you guys confused and lost real easy, right? That's why there's such a big assessment to really understand. All right, task-oriented, all right? You stay in the back or you're staying in the front. If you're task-oriented, you want to move to your right, over here. If you're more task-oriented than people, stay in the front or back, but move to the right or left. Focus on getting the job done, right? Logic-based approach, less emotion involved, okay? Some, but less. Thrive on procedure and process. You're definitely in the right spot. And then the people-oriented people over here, your people are your priority. People over process. Like, almost to a fault. Like, you'll kill a deal if it's going to hurt somebody. Right? Wow.
From in the middle.
Okay.
Are you in the right place?
I think so.
All right.
I'm not moving.
So now that we're in our corners, okay, now think to yourself, for you guys over here, are you so not people that you'd lean more towards reserved? No. Okay, you are there, right? Do you lean more towards people?
Yeah.
Okay, then slide to the middle there. There you go.
Do we have to have Patrick on our side?
Oh, he's not on your side. He's just getting close. He's just getting close. And you guys, are you more people-oriented? Are you more reserved? Or more task-driven? Or are you just like, I am outgoing people to the max? Okay.
More people. You're task.
Okay, we'll go with that.
I'm more people.
So Tim, you're less people to the max. You're less people. You're not as people to the max. You could do without people sometimes.
A lot of the time.
Okay.
So we like,
Okay.
yeah.
And then for you, you're a people person.
100%.
Okay. Do you like more people?
More people.
Okay. Or do you like tasks?
I enjoy both of them. I prefer people.
Okay, scoot over to that way.
Get over here, Mike.
There. And then for you guys, are you
I'm in the middle.
absolutely reserved? Okay, so you can be a little outgoing, all right? Are you more people or task? Okay, so go, well, that's my train of thought. So you'd probably come this way a little, all right? So basically,
Okay.
we have our D's over here, right?
But these can procrastinate.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. The stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense or irritates you, that's get procrastinated a lot.
Like I do
You guys are a DI or an ID, right? Okay, you're an I, just straight I. Oh, welcome.
Yes, come on in. Would you like to be on this side, this side, or this side?
We have our
That's
ISs,
what it is.
okay? We don't have
What'd you call us?
hard,
IS?
you're an IS, okay? We don't have any hardcore S's, you know?
What's
It-
an S?
Super
Slow.
It's the
No, I'm
nurturing,
kidding.
nurturing glue person, right? They're not tasked. They're just all about people. Like if they see something, they will kill the deal
Yeah.
if it's going to hurt their client or the other client. It's like, no, we're going to kill this because I don't want that client getting hurt. That's the S, okay? And then the C's are more, don't bother me with, I just want to be in a room for a little while. I'm going to get the job done. It's like, tell me what I need to do, but you better tell me what I need to do. Don't come back and change this, okay? Because then it's going to be your fault. Like, I will give you what you want, all right? And then you're either a DC or a CD, okay? So it's kind of, if you take the assessment, it'll tell you a little more. And for the ones that fit in the middles, you know, environment really adjusts your personality. Strong D's, you're like kicking environment now. It's like, I'm here, I don't care what's going on. This is how it's gonna happen, right? Okay? You can adjust to a situation, right? I, to the core, and the furthest corner that way, okay? But in this business, you have to pull as close to the middle as possible to understand, right? Because you have to, like the best CEOs, which are D's, the best CEOs understand everybody in their organization and they don't alienate. Those are your superior leaders. Those are the ones that take businesses to greatness.
Tim, that's why you're over there.
But nobody lives here, okay? These are schizophrenic people. This is their core. Right, if this is their core in the middle, they're schizophrenic. Everybody kind of leans on the mid to outer circles of personality for their core. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to know who you are from one day to the next. So, all right, everybody sit down.
We'll figure it
Yeah.
out at the end.
I think if everyone can remember what John said you were, like a DI, SC, whatever, when you take the test, see if that's what you are.
That's a D, so I'm
Well,
right
yeah, see,
right
yeah,
now.
you changed.
It's a D, yeah.
Right, yeah.
I've taken it.
All right, so here's the chart. So you see the D is the outgoing, task-oriented person. The I is going to be the outgoing and people person. Reserved, the S, that's going to be the reserved people person. And we'll talk about the difference between the two different people, persons. And then we got the C's, bless their hearts, the accountants, the compliance, Maria. Maria's like right here. No, I love Maria. She's probably more like over here. She's got some people in her. Okay. And this is when I talked about how we're shifting, like DC or CD. So, where do you go? Were you more of what's your name back there? Parker?
Oh, DSSD.
Would you feel you're more of a challenger type person or a designer type person?
Designer.
Okay, so you'd be more of a CD, all right? And I'll put this and a couple other graphics on Facebook group that you can download and print if you want. But so you got this D, so establisher. That's my downfall. Okay? I'm good at establishing. I'm good with ideas. I'm good with, here it is, let's go. But I'm not the implementer, right? As you get in here, you got director, so that person can establish and direct, move things along. And then this attainer, This one understands at a high level and lives in this realm, okay? Even though they might be out here at home, at work, or in an environment, they live there. So we look at, Wendy, you're an IS, okay? So you're more of an advisor, right? It makes sense, makes sense. But I still feel like there's some D in there,
Yeah.
all right? So you might be more in this area here,
Okay.
okay, which is good.
Yeah.
It's good. Because the outer one, people have to work harder if you're on the outer ring to get what you want in life, all right? You may know exactly what you want, but you don't want to do what it takes to get it because it takes crossing all of those realms, okay? So let's talk about our D's. Joni back there.
That's an inside joke.
It is a side joke. Decisive, problem solving, results oriented, right? Direct, assertive, and competitive. Man, it's like you to the T. Okay? So in this world, in real estate, you have to work hard,
Yeah,
especially to connect with an S.
yes.
Because they are the furthest away and you don't want to understand their world, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. There is no wrong personality. This world needs them all, because if we were all S's, right, okay, we'd all get along great, but we'd be going nowhere. So, these are your D people. We're not gonna get political. These are just pictures that were on there, okay? I like how there's complete opposites, but these are your Ds.
They're not complete opposites.
Well, I mean, as
They're
far as
basic
political
personalities
spectrum.
of the same- Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see they're all the same personality type.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you get these two in a cage and they will kill each other, right? Not just politically, but personality-wise. Because they will climb to the top to lead. And neither of them will want to be led by the other. So, that's why we have to have all these personalities. So, Simon Cowell surprised me a little bit. I thought the D stood for something else with Simon Cowell. Apparently he's more driven. Your I's, interactive. You're outgoing, gregarious, socially assertive, and talkative. Okay? Your I's, I mean, you go a week and you don't have a transaction, but it could still be a great week because you talked to a lot of people and had fun, and you had a lot of events, and you connected. These are your connectors. Your I's are the connectors. You know, they know people in general, what they do. They don't spend too much time finding out why you do it. Okay, they just know what you do. And they try and connect. Their ultimate goal is to connect as many people as possible and create a big, huge network around them. All right? Those are your I's. Make sense?
Yep.
S. Stable. That's a good word for it. They're the glue, right? Control. They're predictable. They're not going to do it. They're not going to surprise you with anything. Okay. Loyal, good listeners, and cooperative. So the difference, as far as people, between the I and S, is the I is going to accumulate relationships. Right? That's part of that's what drives them. The S is going to go less, but deeper. All right? The S want to connect. The S want to nurture. And they can function at an event. They'll come in and they look for people they know. They're fine being around people, but they're happy in smaller groups with their people. Okay? So that's the difference between your I's and S's. The S's, your I is an amazing buyer agent. It's like if you're an I, you're a buyer agent. You're just going out, connecting with people, getting referrals, connecting this buyer to the house. Your S's are more of a listing agent. Okay? Your S is more of a, they have a lot more C than the I. They have more task than the I. If I had someone doing my transaction, their high S, I know they weren't out to mess with me. They weren't gonna screw me over. Okay, they'd be straight with me. So, every organization has to have an S. Has to. Otherwise, it's tough sledding. Because that S is the glue. Everybody goes to the S. If there's an issue, and they don't want to irritate Tim, and maybe Tim's the issue,
Go to Suzanne.
yeah, they're going to the S.
We should have Alex and Suzanne.
I was gonna
next
say
time.
that, what's
Well,
and
for like
even,
now.
and even Maria would.
Yeah, we should, we'll do a separate class for
Yeah.
that.
And so your S, your Suzanne, is going to listen to you, and it's going to prompt her that she needs to do something. So she's going to go to Tim or Wendy and say, so this little birdie or this person said this is happening. So we might want to address this. Okay? So that's the importance of the S. They really hold the organization together. These are your S's. No surprise, huh? And it's like, for me being a high D, I'd have a hard time hanging out with these people.
I would too.
I respect them, right?
I do Mr. Rogers. I like
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers.
I don't know how long I can hang out with Mr. Rogers. It'd be fun
It's
for a minute.
beautiful day in the neighborhood.
I could live with Mr.
Do you have that sweater on?
Huh?
Do you have that sweater
No,
on?
but I-
And you can't. Eyes can go with S's so easy.
Barbara, but
Yeah.
I would live with any of you.
Yeah.
You're wonderful.
Eyes can get along with S's. Joanne,
Yes.
are you hanging out with any of these people?
Mr. Rogers, because he has morals and I really like him.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay. How many happy neighborhoods before you're out the door, though?
Yeah, probably.
Right. Okay. I'm telling you, it's like, I love Mr. Rogers, but it's like the song, right? It's like Small World on steroids. Gotta go.
John, are the D's the most impatient of the group?
Yes,
Right,
by far.
right.
Followed by your C's.
How many people do you run across that is the disc? They're all of them.
Nobody's all of them. They operate at that level. So, for me being a high D, am I a presenter? No.
You're not? I
This
think
is
you do.
not normal.
Oh, I think you do great.
The D wants to get one person, pull them into a room, and let them know what needs to be done, or what's not happening.
Director.
Director, exactly. Director on a good level.
Right.
Got the establisher. I wish I was like normally a director. But, so the D wants to pull the strings and get people moving. All right? But everybody else needs them in the middle. They need the D, but they don't want the D. Okay? See.
If you put the S before the C, you got the D.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or the C before the S.
Exactly.
Roots.
Everybody messes with me with that one, yeah. Everybody that knows me well knows every time I say disc, they think something else. Gosh. Rules, procedures, and protocols. These ones are sticklers for the rules. If something goes outside the lines, they color inside the lines all the time. And if anything falls outside, they're getting an eraser. We got problems. Okay? Quality control, done the right way. All right? If the C does something wrong, is it their fault?
No.
Absolutely not. I mean, even if they want to take responsibility for it, it's not their fault. Okay? They did exactly what they were told. Your high C did what they were told. There is a problem at a higher level with the communication. All right? So you C's know that you guys are pretty perfect in every way, and it's okay. All right? Here's your C's.
Engineers.
Yep, engineers.
Logic. The Vulcan mind meld.
Yeah. So, I was talking to Wendy earlier, we talked about, she showed me that, and I'm like, gosh, I thought you were more D there. But after you're 25, once you pass 25, you are who you are. The only thing that's going to change your personality is some catastrophic event in your life. Okay? That either changes everything around you or changes how you live. Okay? So that can change your personality. Other than that, we adapt to things. So when you do an assessment, it should give you your core, who you truly are, and it should be very accurate. Accurate to the point to where you argue with it. Because if you live in an environment that's not your core for most of the day, every day, you believe that's who you are. Okay? So you fight it. I did that. So as a Keller Williams, I was running a big team, and they fired the CEO there, and they came to me, and I'm like, nope. I go, I don't want a job. I'm just doing fine right here. No job needed. I don't want to work for anybody. Someone else came to me and says, if you don't take the job, they're going to hire someone you don't like, and they're going to ruin everything that was built. So I was like, all right. So I raised my hand. If you know anything about Keller Williams, at the higher levels, they take forever to hire. Okay? They will run assessments. They will validate the assessment with you. They'll do 3 or 4 interviews. This is how Gary Keller built the whole thing. And Gary Keller has personality profiles for every single position in Keller Williams. Right? And whatever your profile is, that's what they want to hire you to. And they bring you back to that point because talent can do anything. All right? For a time. But they'll burn out. You stick a talented person into a spot. I can do accounting. I don't want to, but I'd kill it if I needed to, but I would burn out real quick. Okay? So talent can be that's why Gary has had certain people around him forever, and they tend to come back after they leave, whatever, follow the saga. But, so in this process of interviewing, we argued. I actually took the assessment twice. I'm like, this isn't right.
Did you get the same answer?
Yep.
Okay.
Same thing. And I just, because in part of it, when he got to the point where it says, basically, I like to be micromanaged. And I looked at him like, I want you to try micromanage me and see what happens. Okay? I'm like, this ain't happening. I go, it'll work best if you're nowhere around and I get to run this the way I need to run it. Okay? But then he pulled out the core assessment. Or no, that was the core assessment. And then he pulled out the environmental, how I operate in my job around the people I am with most. I'm like, see, that's who I am. That's it. He's like, and he looked at me, he's like, so it's not wrong. And I was like, oh, I cannot believe I like to be micromanaged at my core. That's stupid. Okay, so I'm a DC. Talk about conflict, right? But they are close. They do work together really well. Other DCs, Elon Musk. He's a DC. Okay? He's that establisher, a little more than an establisher. You can tell when he doesn't care. When he goes out and doesn't care about how everybody else thinks. All right? Another DC, Steve Jobs. He's closer to that designer. I'd say he's more of a CD than a DC, but he's right there on that line. Gary Keller, DC. Anybody know Mo Anderson? She's like the mother of KW. She comes across as this bleeding heart, right? Okay. Well, she has the same profile. Yeah. All right. So she's super conflicted. And being on stage, which she was always on stage, is her kryptonite. But she understood in order to, we know what we want, right? We have to cross those bridges to get there. So she understood what she had to do to get there. So she would put herself on stage. to get that message out so that she could bring that value that she wanted to bring to the company. The care, the love, all of that. All right? So being one thing does not pigeonhole you. It does not, cripple you or classify you. Like I said, this is more important to understand everybody else. Because when you're meeting a buyer or a seller for the first time, especially buyers, how many have shown a buyer 30 houses and they disappeared? Then they bought a week later. Someone else didn't. Okay? Is the buyer unloyal? Did you do something wrong? No, probably not. They just connected with somebody. All right? They didn't feel like, even though you're a trustworthy person, they didn't feel like they could trust you because they didn't feel like they were connecting. But on the other hand, they could have been an S and they could have met a D at an open house, and that D sold them a house because as soon as they walked through the door, they saw him a mile away. And the D just shifted gears. Right? Instead of dragging them through the house, they walked with them through the house and listened and emphasized every care or need they had. So you can do that. As soon as they leave, you're like, oh my gosh. Right? Like, I cannot believe that. Okay. But you have to do that. Okay. So here's a fun one. Disc dogs. All right? So you eyes, these are the dogs that you would relate with more. Make sense? Yeah?
John, you're gonna give us access to this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Your C's down here, your independent working dogs. Like this little Australian Shepherd. Total C, right?
See, I have an Australian Shepherd.
Yeah.
So he's not that. I don't know. But I'm an I and an S.
Yeah.
So.
But how many sheep are you herding daily?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
John, I
How
got the lab. How do I give her? I want to give her the test. How do I do it?
Who? Oh, the
How do I give
lab.
the dog the test?
Right? Yeah, luckily, they are them to the core. There are no adjusting, right? They show up every day the same. They're not going to change at all. No matter what the environment is or what happens, they're still going to show up with the ball when you come home, right? House could be burning down, and they're on the front lawn with the ball waiting for you to come home, okay? But it really is the same with people, okay? At our core, in a stressful situation, you're going to revert to your core. You're going to pull back, all right? In a stressful situation, when push comes to shove and it's go time, I will pull back into the facts and the analysis and the details just to make sure that when I come off, I know I'm right, okay? I lean on that stuff in a stressful situation, right? What I know. So, and like I said, you can take the assessment multiple times. I could probably take the assessment and throw whatever you want me to throw, right? I could probably come out as an S if I wanted to, just because I understand it and understand how those people answer the question.
Now I have
Right?
a question. So you said it up until you're 25, and then if something catastrophic happens, you could change. But what happens to your personality that you were born with,
Mhm.
and then this catastrophic event happens, and now you switch? Don't you still have some of that left in you?
It depends on how catastrophic it was and what the situation was. It could completely erase the old you, but most of the times there's still parts of you that come through, okay? The whole adage, you can take a girl out of the trailer park, or a guy. Take a guy out of the trailer park, but you can't take the trailer park out of a guy.
Why's it gotta be a guy?
At the end of the day, when someone throws a beer bottle in a bar, trailer park is coming out, okay? It's coming out, all right?
My first house.
Or their check comes up short. Trailer park is coming out. All right?
Yeah, don't mess with someone's money,
Right.
especially if they got kids.
All right.
Oh.
So selling to your client's personality. D, decisive. 10% of the population is D. Okay? They purchase for success and power. Key in on that, right? Success and power, completely different from any of the other classifications. Purchase to solve problems, not achieve a goal. They better have their wife with them, okay? If they're looking at homes and they're gonna sign a contract, make sure their wife is there, okay? Because this dude is just checking boxes, right? It's like, oh, 3 kids, 4 bedrooms, 3-car garage, sweet. Kitchen, who needs a kitchen, right? Okay, that's the guy. The woman is gonna be, the D's and S's can coexist. You know, it takes a lot of work, but you got the S, it's kind of looking at the schools and, you know, all the reviews, what's close by, what's the crime rate. They want to go talk to neighbors, meet some friends, and make sure people love it there. The D is already signed and left, right? It's done. Direct and specific. All right? If you get a hold of a D and you go out showing homes, it's gonna be a short day. 5, 10 homes, you're gonna be done quick. So if they walk through, you wanna win over a D, and you can notice the irritability right when they walk through the door, you say, this isn't it, is it? No. All right, let's go. Let them. Go with it. Okay, you're gonna win. You're gonna get trust, you're gonna get connection, he's gonna refer the crap out of you, right? Decides quickly, respect their time. If you can tell they're ready to go, don't take them back out to see the backyard again, right? Don't take them back upstairs. Or, but did you see? Don't do that, okay? They decide quickly, and they don't have time. And then follow through, all right? If you tell them you're gonna email them some comps tonight,
Better email them some damn comps
you
tonight.
better email them some comps. Are they gonna look at them tonight?
Probably not.
Absolutely not, but they're gonna know if you didn't send them, okay? So that's your D. Persuading words, money, results, fast, and win. So these are the type of words you want to use when you're with a D. All right. They see a penthouse, like, oh my gosh, I don't even know someone that this successful that could own this. Right, but if you want it, we can get you in fast because I mean they're moved out and they'll close fast. Like let's come up with a win-win offer. Done. These are types of things that you want to use. Discouraging words. These are more important than the persuading words to know. Okay. These, if you don't use them, it's not the end of the world. You use some of these. High D, you're gone. And the worst one is pretty sure. Okay.
Better be absolutely certain.
Certain. And if you don't know, don't say I don't know. These are the ones that you have to say, let me check on that for you. I'll get the answer. Right? They'll respect you for that. Okay? And then give them the answer right away. But don't go pretty sure. I'll try. You're not going to. Pretty good. Sucks. Maybe. No. Okay? Those are the ones you want to avoid. Your I's are 25 to 30% of the population. Customer experience and fun. They just want to have fun, right? Use success stories, testimonials. They want to see people having fun. They want to see smiles. They want to see pictures of people in front of the house laughing, popping champagne corks. They're searching for gender reveals. They're looking for all of this stuff, right? Decides emotionally. All right? So understand that if I has a friend whose uncle's brother's dog dies, they might not be open to seeing homes today or making a decision on a home. Their emotions run at a high level. All right? And they'll decide emotionally. You gotta get excited with them, okay? That's hard for me to do. But you gotta get excited with them. You see excitement, like, oh my gosh, isn't that so great? Oh, I love this, I love it too. Done. You connected. You got to go with it. I mean, you might go home and drink a bottle of wine and say, oh my gosh, one more day. And they want a decision to make them look good. Okay? Image. These guys are all about image. Persuading words are fun, people, social, and prestige. For an I, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be your new best friend. I'm so going to come up. All your friends are going to be here every single weekend in this poll. That's how you sell an I. That's the goal they want. They want their house full of friends and neighbors kids and kids from neighbors, other states. They don't care. They just want people in their house. Discouraging word, agenda. Don't start the day with, all right, so we have 6 homes. They checked out. They just want to jump in the car and go. We want to go get a latte. We want to talk. We want to stop over here. Yeah. Timetable and budget. Budget's important, but you got to be creative on how you address a budget. All right? And alone. Don't say the word alone. Don't leave them alone. Don't make them feel alone. Be at the whole showing. You better be in each room. Don't let them walk off by themselves. They're going to lose the feel. Okay? They want to have people with them. S's. 30 to 35% of the population. They crave predictability. All right? Don't surprise them. They appreciate predictability. Be sincere. And you can't fake sincerity with an S. Like, they're sincere at a whole nother level, and they can see fake coming from a long ways. But be sincere. Emphasize your convenient process. These are the ones that might want to take that cash offer, okay, versus putting the home on the market and having a bunch of people come through the house, or getting the house ready. Need time to process information? Yep. You guys got those clients. Sleep on it. Pray on it. If it's an S, you gotta let them. You gotta let them lose a couple houses till they come to that decision. Because the more you push them, or force them, or try and get a point across, you're just pushing them more and more away. They're going to have to come to that realization. So if you value them as a client, and an S can be amazing. They can refer. When you get a referral from an S, that thing's sold. Done. You take a lot of work to screw that up. All right? They already trust you. They already know what to expect from you, because they've had a 2-hour conversation with their friend 3 days out of the week about it, and they're finally ready. So show confidence in your presentation. Could be short, could be long, but they can sense if you really believe in what you're saying. All right, so they can feel the confidence. Persuading words for S's. Easy, safe. That's a big one. Safe. I mentioned about they're going to check crime rates. They're going to check crime rates. Or they're going to ask you for a crime rate. Guarantees. That will come up. Like, but the rates are coming down. Can you guarantee that? Oh, it's an S. You know? Okay. Reliable. It's the reliability. They want you to come across as they expect you to come across. They want you to show up on time. They feel that you care about them if you are reliable to them. Discouraging words, they hate conflict. Absolutely hate conflict. They will avoid conflict at all costs. Don't want to be rushed. They will take no risk. So these are not your marry the house, date the rate people. They're not going to play that game. Right? And uncertainty. So is this an interesting market for an S? It's like I just kind of, that is the market right there. conflict, rush, risk, uncertainty. That's where we're at. So it's your job to try and mitigate this feeling if you're working with S's. And there weren't very many in here, because like attracts like. D's will attract D's even though they don't want to hang out with them for long periods of time. I's attract I's, and they'll go wherever all day with them, right? And your C's will attract C's. It's just natural. So, but again, an S is going to have a very rewarding, long-lasting business that's built on entirely on referral, just because they keep building through that. Your C's, 20 to 25% of the population. They use facts and data. Use facts and data in your presentation. So, should you have multiple listing presentations?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you can hone in on your client and you bring the exact perfect presentation for them, that's a winner. Okay? Unemotional decision makers. If you take a C presentation to a D listing appointment, you're gone. Okay? They will check out within minutes. And they're like, oh my gosh, how many slides are left on this thing? Okay. Emphasize your procedure. All right. These C's want to know what to expect too. Be organized and consistent. So don't show up late and shuffling papers trying to find what the exact homes that you're going to show them. That's death. And provide a pros versus cons sheet. They already have one, but bring one. Okay. They've already built that pro and con sheet.
Like to buy a house or not buy a house?
Yeah, yeah. And then after they find one, they're going to do a pro and con sheet on that house. Yep, on that neighborhood. All right. They're very analytical. Facts, details, everything. Everything matters to them. So see why it's like it's so important to understand who you're dealing with, because these facts and things you might care less, and as a realtor you probably already know them and they're not that important to you. They shouldn't be a weight on the decision going one way or the other. But if you know this C, everything's important to them. Every fact, every detail. They're weighing everything. You got to play to that. I mean, you can build your business if you're an I just working with I's. Okay, just know that it's going to be tough because the I you worked with this year might be working with a different one next year because they were at a party and connected with another I, and they're just flighty. They bounce around. They connect. D's working with D's is a great business. There's less of them though. Remember, there's only 10%, so you're minimizing. So best practice would be to be able to adjust. Persuading words. Specific. Details. Logical. These guys are not emotional, right? They're a lot less emotional when buying a property. And procedure. When you go on a listing appointment with a C, you detail the whole thing. It's like, all right, first we're going to sign this contract, and then we're going to get up and you're going to show me around the house, show me what you like and don't like, and I'm going to tell you what to put away and box up. And then I'm going to show you, then we're going to call the photographer. They're going to come out, we're going to give you notice and this and that, and they're going to take pictures and we're going to put them on, and 3 days after that, we're going to go on the market, but we're going to take some pre-showings and this and that. And if you like any of that, this is what the C wants to know. The C wants to know for the next 2 weeks what's going on. Not just a marketing plan. They want you to go through it. Your engineer people, your accountants, these ones want to know. Discouraging words, unplanned. Oh, these guys hate when you take a home off the list at the last minute. Oh, they're so disappointed. It's like, oh, I really wanted to see that one. Probably shoots the whole day. Probably not going to buy a house that day. All right? But it happens. Unorganized and quick. Don't rush them. all Cs are different. Certain things appeal to certain Cs different than other Cs, but let them do their thing. They might take a tape measure, okay, especially for the garage, right? They're seeing how much it would cost to change out the cabinets as they're walking through. They're gonna ask you these questions, right? So those are your Cs. They're gonna take some time to make a decision too, but it's not an emotional one, it's an analytical one. And they are killing their own deal while they're overanalyzing everything, okay? And it's frustrating, you just gotta go with it. You gotta try and find the sweet spot. So, talked about how all these personalities are important. Talked about Suzanne. So in my business, when we built out our team, okay, I'm a high D. My business partner was a high S. Okay? We'd go fishing here and there. We'd go hunting here and there. We're not gonna hang out for long periods of time. But it worked perfect because he was the implementer. He was the glue. Everybody went to him when they had issues. Nobody would call me. And I didn't take offense to it. I preferred it.
It's like here, everyone goes to Wendy, it's great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
See, Tim doesn't take offense to it. So everything would work great, right? Over the years, we were together, we ran this team for almost 10 years, okay? Multiple cross brokerages, expanded across states, and we got to a point where, so I took on that CEO role, and he managed the team. But nobody knew who he was, right? It was always John's team. He was always John's partner, you know? And the thing that really got him was when the owner of the KWs would always forget his name. We were the #1 team. He was running the team, but he was getting 0 credit. And it weighed on him. And that environment was changing him, right? He was kind of stepping into multiple roles. So he was adjusting his personality. So he was feeling more D in the team. So it came to a point eventually when I started shifting into loans because we were like, we need to be more, diversified. We need title, lending, and real estate. So I was shifting into loan, we had the title thing going, and he went to Hawaii and came back. He's like, we had merged another team into our group, and he's like, all right, I've had enough. I can't deal with these guys. He's like, I'm taking the team to EXP. I'm like, woo! I'm like, I go, okay. I go, I'll keep an open mind, But underlying, he just wanted to be the guy. He couldn't take the team anywhere in KW and be him. It was always me. It was always my team. So he wanted a fresh start. He wanted to break off and become that guy. And I was like, he's my friend. And I saw a avenue in loans that I didn't know about 10 years before, okay? So I'm like, okay, go ahead. It's like, I'm kind of out of the whole KW world. I don't care. I'm done with that. You could do it. So he did. And whose name got dragged through the mud? This guy at KW, because my massive team left and went to EXP. Death sentence for a KW person when you do that. So, but everybody went with him. The entire expansion. 100% of the agents followed and went with him. He was the glue. Nobody's going to leave. If I would have left, I probably might have gotten a fraction of it, right? Because he's the glue. So we went over, took the team. Fast forward, how many years? 4 years? 3 years? Maybe 4 years? There's no team. It's gone. The entire team just disbanded and went their separate ways and did their own thing. He got to the point of, I'm just tired of doing all this. Yeah. You got exhausted, you got burned out, and along the way, you slowly started getting rid of the important things that we installed to build it, which is why people joined. Even though they loved him and it was heartbreaking for them to leave him, they just said bye to me, right? Thanks, John, but I need to do something else, right? And I've been like, all right, see ya. You can find another one. But for him, every time someone left, it was personal. It hurt him because he felt that connection. That's the yes. So you can adjust, and you will adjust. Sometimes it can be detrimental. And your environment could turn you into someone you don't want to be, right? I'm not saying I don't want to do this. This isn't my normal thing. Like, if I got a week of classes, I'm not doing anything this weekend. Like, you won't find me. I'm like, I'll answer the phone, hopefully just text, but I am unwinding and relaxing because it's a lot of energy to get up in front of people. But I know I have to. And ultimately, we figured out, why am I adjusting and doing this stuff? What's that why? And for the longest time, I couldn't figure it out. And I just went back. Everything I've done, every little step, every time I said yes and moved in a certain direction, it was increasing my opportunity to help, make a difference, make an impact. For D's, it's impact. But you know what? They make an impact, go on, okay? I impacted, what's next, right? So in lending, I was like, the more people I can work with, the more impact I can have, more people's lives. When I was just a realtor running a team, I had impact on realtors. It's great, and I loved watching agents build up business. And for me, it was great when they left and did something with it, right? He'd say, I can't believe they left. And I'd be like, hey, that's a billboard. Put that up there. This person came to us with this, and now he's running his own team. And we're going to use that to recruit. And he's like, no, they left me, right? So it's how you look at things. And so it was great helping agents build and stuff like that, but that was where my impact ended. And it was, I got squirrely, you know. D's were like, I need to do something. Gary Keller worked with me. I'm like, I got to do something. It's like, you know. So he coached me into the lending direction. Lending, the right lenders. I don't get along with lenders, by the way. I don't like them. I don't hang out with them. I don't go to events with them, okay? Because they're all the same. They really are, and you guys know that. But for me, I was like, I get to impact realtors and their business, and I get to impact clients and their lives at the same freaking time. So it's double impact, all right? But if I sit in my office and don't help you or an impact in your guys' world, I'm gonna have less clients to work with too, okay? That's why I adjust and do the things I need to do, even if they're uncomfortable and I don't prefer it, you know, doing these classes. If any of you take anything away from this and you're just watching, like, we go to all these events and where you take 100 things away. And if you just took one thing and adjusted one thing, it was a success. So like, even if we go to the next level to where we're aware that people are different, we're aware and we're watching now how people are acting, what they're saying, their demeanor, and we're engaged, that's a success. The rest will go, the rest will come. You'll get better and better and better. You'll notice more things. Probably gonna go home, if you guys have spouses, you're gonna be like, you're gonna be listening better than you ever have in your life right now, just to try and figure it out, okay? So, you know, I'm divorced twice, so I didn't learn the first time. I went right back to the S, and it didn't work again, okay? But
You weren't using the disc.
I wasn't. But you want to know what's funny? So Keller Williams has their own internal disc analysis called the KPA thing. So I actually used that on a couple women. I did. I did.
And you're
And it
going
saved
to-
me. It saved me, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I missed that one, right?
Is that a first date thing? Like, hey, can we take these tests?
So the trick, the hard part is getting to take it without knowing why you want them to take it. Okay? So, but ultimately, this helps relationships, personal, professional, with your kids, you know? So, you created the environment. You're creating their personality. By the time they hit 25, if they're at home till 25, they are 100% you created them. Okay? Because
Yeah.
they're in your environment.
You
You're in
should
control.
wanna get the hell out at about 17. That's when you're gonna do a good job.
So yeah, and you know, it's, I've been single for a long time now because using this type of stuff and understanding, it's like, yeah, she might be good in my world, but I know what I can do to her world. We're just going to stay away from that, right? So it goes both ways. You start referring people. You know that I get them, but too much energy on both sides. Better to just refer it to someone who is perfect for them, and then you close the deal, and you create a great relationship all the way around. So now I do that with lending. If I get a lead, comes in, I'm going to put that person, not with the agent I like the most, but the most likelihood of a smooth transaction. Yeah.
So John, now that we know what we are, DISC,
Mhm.
any tips and tricks so when we meet that client for the first time, what we think they are, so we can, not match and mirror, but you know what I'm going with.
It's not match and mirror.
You know.
Someone asked that. Match and mirror, it's fake, right? It is more fake. And we're not fake in this business, or else we're going to be out of the business quick. It's more support. I'm going to support this person's personality. I'm going to make them comfortable. I'm going to adjust so that they're comfortable with working with me, because I know that I'm the best agent they can work with. And if I run them off, I did them a disservice. So it's more like supporting.
It's about adapting, isn't it?
Yeah, adapt. And we talked earlier about, when you take an assessment like this, there's so many factors that could change or sway, even if you're not purposely trying to sway it. But if you take enough of them and you understand all this stuff, you really can. I can come out as an S. If I go on a job interview and I really need that job, I can come up looking exactly like the person they need, and I'll burn out in 2 years and be gone. Okay? But your environment, the current environment you're taking the assessment in, right? The day you had leading up to the time you take the assessment, the things that happened in your life, at work. If you're angry, that's going to sway your answers. If you're tired, like maybe your deal is training and working with agents and development, and you just had such a rough day and burned out from it, all of a sudden you completely flipped to the other side just from your responses, just because you felt that way. So taking the assessment, if you really want to know who and what, it'll dive into your core, no matter what your personality, the environment you're taking it in, but it does affect it. It will sway it in certain ways, okay? That's why it's important not to just get that assessment and read it yourself. It's more effective if someone validates it with you. If they take it and they ask you these questions. Because when someone else asks you the questions, they can observe how you respond, how quick, the body language, and they can dive deeper into them, and might even result in a new assessment being taken. Okay? Because it's just on paper. On paper is that, but once that's done and you have been validated, then that's your entire blueprint. You can go back to that and know who you are at any time once that's validated. And the key to that is when I would coach and being at Keller Williams and coaching them all and knowing what every one of their personality was, when they'd come to me and want to do something, like, no, you're not going to do it. Like, but it works. It works for them. Like, it'll never work for you. Or, I was thinking about teaming up with this person. Like, nope. Knocking in. Well, it was quick. I could be direct. I could be my D, right? I could be very decisive and say, this is what's gonna happen. All the time, it's like, you're gonna sign up for that subscription, you're gonna go through about $1,800, in about 6 months, you'll have made 6 calls, 0 contacts, and no leads, while everything's piling up in the inbox for you to call, and then you're gonna come to me and say it doesn't work. Didn't work. I know. Because we know how you're wired. We validated it. Okay? Those are the keys. And I'm willing to sit down with any of you guys and do a complete assessment and validation. And it does wonders for especially your business. Because you're going to remove some things, some people. And that's okay. Because you remove them from your business doesn't mean that you just never talking to that person again. You just take them in doses. Right? So your environment, the people you have around you, it all matters, but this is the core of it. This is what makes it all go right. So, all right. Any questions? No? Thanks.
Can I give something in, like a tip, I guess, but basically somebody mentioned mirroring earlier. Mirroring works best when you're dealing with a crisis, a conflict, or something you're trying to resolve. So when you hear that person share their concern, that's when you want to mirror. What I hear you saying is, or I can appreciate what you're saying because of whatever they're saying, you're mirroring it. So in that context, if you can remember that, in this case, he's saying you're basically supporting your personality with whatever those like keywords and those type of discouraging or persuasive words rather than using the discouraging words.
What's cool is when you do say one of those words in a conversation and you know who they are and you see their reaction and inside you're like, can't believe I knew that. Why did I say that? And then a whole drive home, I cannot believe I said that. Right? But that's growth. You know, that gets you, you know, to where you want to be. And some people, I mean, you get an accountant who loves just sitting in that office and not being around people, and they have no aspirations to do anything different, and they're there, right? They don't have to grow. They don't have to stretch and get out of their realm. But you have that accountant. I had one, rest her soul. She was my assistant. She was my office manager at KW. She thought she was an I, and it was awkward, super awkward. All the interactions with her and the agents and stuff were, she tried too hard. See, you know, I'm like, go back to the assessment, validate. It's like, I'm not saying you can't. I said, just be aware. You know, pick your spots. Pick where you can come in. Like, everybody wants to have fun, right? They have those moments, but you want to pick your spots, you know, your groups. Where can I have the most impact? Who I am, this is who I am, how can I impact? And so, but that's ultimately figuring out why I did what I did helped me keep doing what I'm doing. So, all right. Oh, and he asked about questions. You want to build questions. You can build your whole buyer consultation and insert different questions. And these are the key hot questions that you're looking for a response. And it's going to tip you of how they respond. All right? I don't have any of those on me right now, but we can sit down and talk about it and discuss and mastermind.
One was describe your perfect house.
Yeah.
Because the words that they use to describe it will kind of determine whether they're a D or whether they're an I or this. So really describing the words that they use to describe it shows their emotions towards it.
And a lot of times it's just listening.
Mm-hmm.
Just listening. So.
I think it would be ideal, now that we know what we are, within 5 minutes that we know what our client was.
Yes.
Obviously.
That's the key.
Like
That
if
is the
you-
goal.
If your client is Mary Perry, you know she's a D. You know, if
Right.
it's Sveta, maybe, it's not a D, she's a little more quiet.
That's the trick. The
Yeah,
faster
that's-
you can figure that out and connect, the better chance you have of closing a deal or creating a relationship. And sometimes it just might be, you know what, I know I'm the best agent and I'm her best chance of doing this, so we're going to do this and she's going to close and I'm going to follow up and get another referral or whatever, but there's going to be zero relationship here. I'm just going to do my job. And that's okay. Because if you are the best agent, then you did her a service.
Is sometimes just shut up and listening the best you can do?
Yeah, absolutely. And even more than listening, watching body language, how they're saying it. So, smiles, not smiling, feeling the energy that they're expressing, how expressive they are. You know, ask them what their hobbies are. They ain't got no hobbies. I could tell you a lot right there. Or what their hobbies are. Or if they don't want to answer that question.
What are they if they have no hobbies?
Yeah, they're gonna be more the tasks, more the C's. Yeah, and S, C and S. So, because S is that their hobby is love and connection and taking care of people, and that's their hobby. So, but yeah, if you guys really truly put the work in to understand the person, you're gonna have great relationships and a great business. Because at the end of the day,
What websites come to mind to take the test? Where can we go to take the test?
Couple ways.
Google it?
You can go on Tony Robbins. He has an assessment you can take there.
Are they all kind of the same, I assume?
They are.
Franklin University?
Even for free ones
We
are.
have one in zone, right?
Yeah.
In zone.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect, right there.
There's one, what's it
Yes.
called?
The
I
university.
remember I took it.
You have one university?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Take one, let's sit down and look at it and see how much information we get out of it. I do have more in-depth ones through John Maxwell that really gets deep into it, but you know, if we don't need
Do you
to.
think when people take it the first time and they see the results, they say, absolutely, or they say, this is BS?
It depends.
Rock Title had me take the disc, and I was offended. I felt
Yeah.
violated. I felt violated.
Right.
Truly, it's like, oh my gosh.
And then
Scary.
then again, when we get back to the validation point, when you're hearing it back verbally, you're like, oh yeah, you know, it's a whole
I think I'm
different.
gonna go read it again just to understand it, because I was so upset when I first was reading it for the first time. I'm like, you know, it's like I was naked. I was like, oh, this is being recorded. But anyway, yeah, it's on point.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, there might be some situations where it could be off a little bit, but
Mine was right on.
yeah, ultimately they're usually right on. They're usually right on the money. And then again, once you know who you are, you can build a solid business around that. You know, becoming aware of your strengths. You get coaches that'll tell you it's like a team in a box or a business in a box. This is what you need to do first. Maybe not, right? Maybe I'm the transaction manager, and that doesn't rule me out from running a team or building a big business. I just need to go find an eye to show homes for me and connect for me, and I do everything else for them. Have a bunch of eyes running around for you, okay? And it works. So,
Damon Caldwell told me where the disc was, that's where I remember, because I went.
Perfect.
To talk with him.
yeah, take that and let me know. We can sit down.
Take it again.
Yeah, do it. It's valuable.
No.
So, make your spouse take it.
That's what I'm gonna do. I think.
And the thing is a C can be mistaken for a D a lot of times, because they kind of share and they kind of, just because this person is driving, they may be so task oriented, and that's why they're driving, is they just want to get that list done.
Be.
Yeah,
Could very well be.
yeah. So a lot of times this C can be mistaken. But S's are pretty profound. You can see an I coming from a mile away. At least I can. So, but, all right.
Awesome, thank you, John.
Yeah, reach out to me if you want to sit down with these and go from there.